Welcome to Light Her Up, your go-to podcast for exploring what it means to align with your passions and create a life filled with freedom, ease, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Natalie Bernacchi, a mom, entrepreneur, and certified coach who left a 15-year corporate career to build a life aligned with my passions and help other women do the same. We'll be diving deep into topics like self-discovery, mindset shifts, and the courage to pursue the life you've always dreamed of. Thank you for being here and for prioritizing yourself. I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If you're ready to find your joy, reclaim your identity, and upgrade your life, you're in the right place. Now let's light it up. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Light Her Up podcast. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Inbal Claudio, a 3-time founder, community builder, and a mom of 3 on a mission to make sure no female founder ever feels like she's building alone. She is the creator of a virtual community called the Like-Minded Collective, an in-person community called the Like-Minded OC, and the Clubhouse OC, which is a co-working space and a home for all of her in-person events, all of which revolve around friendship before business. This episode is all about the power of community, and not just as a buzzword, but as a business growth strategy. So if you've ever felt like building your business has to be lonely or transactional, this conversation is going to flip that on its head. We talk about what it really means to build a community-first business, how referrals, visibility, and joy flow when connection leads, and why community isn't just for influencers, it's for every kind of founder. So make sure to listen if you're craving deeper relationships in business and you're ready to ditch that hustle culture and want to grow in a way that actually feels good. So before we dive in, I've got something to tell you. The applications for the Rocket Ship Mastermind are officially open. This is the room for women who are done waiting for someday and ready to build a business that fuels their life, not consumes it. Where your big vision is normal, where you can say the quiet parts out loud and get real strategy that moves the needle, where your multi-passionate brain is celebrated as your greatest advantage. This is part boardroom, part hype squad, part deep inner work lab. It's designed to help you make bold moves now with clarity, confidence, and support to scale in a way that actually feels really freaking good. Virtual and in-person options are available, and this is a curated legacy-level crew of women who match your ambition and a seat with your name on it. Apply now through the link in the show notes, and I can't wait to see you on board. Hi, Inbal. Welcome to the Light Her Up podcast. I am so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. I've been counting down the days to finally get to chat with you on your podcast. So I'm so grateful.
Yay. I know. I feel like you've been one of my number one supporters, and I truly appreciate it more than you know. So thank you.
Of course. It's easy.
So I have shared on this podcast before that last year, my intention was to put myself out there to attend as many in-person events as possible to expand my network and just to put myself in the room with women who were doing what I wanted to do. And last year I went to the Powerhouse Women's event in August, and I didn't meet you in person, but I met you through the virtual community of Powerhouse Women, and you reached out and you invited me to be a guest at one of your events that you were hosting in the OC. And for those listeners who aren't in California, I'm in the LA, South LA area, and Inbal's in Orange County, and she has an amazing community there. But when she asked me, I was like, oh my God, that's so far. It's far for me to drive. Because with traffic, it just takes forever. But then I went and I was instantly hooked. I was obsessed with your community and everything you've built. And I've just found so much value from the conversations and also just so much damn fun. It's always so fun. And also so much style inspo because you and the other women always look so cute. I've asked you before if you would be my personal stylist, and like, hate to break it to you, but that was my secret of having you on the podcast. So I could like ask.
Done. I'm like, I match my background currently. So
And it looks so good. Like you could so pull it off. It looks so cute.
Thank you.
But no, really. So something that I've been genuinely curious about, because you are this incredible community builder. How did you become a community builder? Was this something that you've always done? Like, take us through your journey of sort of how you started your communities.
I will say, I think it's just a part of me. I like think you have that too, right? Where I can see how you put together events, how seamless it is to kind of get people to want to be in your circle. And I see it even at our events here, like you're magnetic, right? And so I think people like that, it's easy to kind of start on this community journey because all you want to do is just bring people together and have fun, right? There's no like dollar ulterior motive. It's like purely from heart. And that's truly how I feel. I've been bringing people together for as long as I can remember, from like my birthday parties. I had all my different groups of friends, like my Jewish friends, my school friends, my work friends, and everyone always left with a new best friend. And I'm like, this is the best. But as far as work goes, I was in the service industry for a long time, and I was always brainstorming ways to bring more people in, like having events, having, different DJs, having theme nights. Not all of it was well received by the owners of the restaurant, but I was always thinking of ways to kind of like bring people in. And, I like to say that I'm unemployable, but I ended up getting fired from both of those places, which no longer exist. But that was truly like what I loved doing. And so I started a candle company, and I was doing lots of in-person shows and events and trade shows. And the same thing, I was just building relationships with people that came to my booth. I was talking to them about, the value of non-toxic ingredients. I was connecting with them. And so I think it's just something that came easily. And then when I started Like Minded Collective, initially it was supposed to be a platform for influencers and brands to connect, because I had my candle company and I wanted to connect with influencers and didn't want to pay $500 a month, which these platforms were charging. I wanted to create a very affordable option. And it turned into community because I needed it. Like I didn't know the first thing about being a tech founder, right? So I needed to learn. And so I started to bring women together who knew what they were doing. And eventually I'm like, a community is so much better than a social network or a influencer marketing platform. And so it shifted to community just kind of naturally.
Wow. That is such a cool story. And it's sort of like, I guess community was always the thing that you were natural at. And it's just funny how like, even though you were like in the service industry and then started a candle business, like you would never think community would come out of like building a candle business, but it found you and you found it. So that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. I was talking to my husband, like if I knew the value of community now, my candle company would have been so much better, because I would have held like events at my house or like rented out space and done like candle making workshops, like just done things totally different. But everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's this unique journey of how it got you to where you are today. So it all makes sense. Yeah. So how did that realization around like real connection begin to shift things for you? So like in that moment when you were in the candle business and you started to connect people and you realized like, wow, this is so much better than influencer marketing. Like, what was that realization like for you?
It was interesting because the reason why I shifted into a community was, I always tell people like I felt like a dollar sign where I didn't know what I was doing, right? I was moving from a product-based business to a service-based business. And everybody wanted me to hire them as my coach, right? $1,000 here, $1,000 there. And I'm like, I don't even know like branding, right? I made so many financial mistakes in the beginning. And I just realized like there has to be a place where people can just come together. I remember this lady who I hired and then had instant regret and canceled. When I canceled, she told me like, what you're building is way too big for you to do by yourself.
Wow. You're like, great advice.
Yeah.
Me
And I'm
now.
like, oh my gosh, like that's not going to make me want to hire you. Right.
Yeah.
But I really quickly realized like we started to do weekly workshops and I was connecting with all these incredible women who wanted to host workshops in the community. And I'm like, oh my God, there are so many amazing women out there. Like so many who genuinely put friendship first and business second. And it just shifted everything for me. Like the platform, everything I did was free for a solid year and a half, like 100% free, because I wanted it to let people in to really experience what it felt like to just build community, you know? Of course, you have to monetize at some point, and I eventually did. However, you know, the community, virtual community is still free to this day. And so I just realized like, I'm connecting with so many incredible women. They're connecting with each other. They're like meeting for coffee and sending me pictures. Like it's so freaking cool, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's why I really wanted to start Like Minded OC, because I was like, I want to meet up with my virtual friends in real life. I want to build this. And I've got like my best friends now come from those communities where it's just different. Like the women are amazing. And so that's kind of what I realized, like, wow, community is everything. There are incredible women out there. All you have to do is just be genuine yourself. And then you naturally attract people who are like-minded.
Yeah. And it's so funny because when you say it, it sounds so easy, right? Like it sounds like all you have to do is just be you and like have fun. And like, honestly, that's truly like what it is. And I feel like a lot of times we just tend to overcomplicate things. Like I look back at when I first started my own business and I was like, the things that I did, like I didn't even need to do all of those things. Like I didn't need to follow all of those steps. It was just like, just do it. Just like get a group of people together. And I will say too, like your tagline and your philosophy of your whole community is friends before business. And I can say like as a member of like your community and participating in so many events of your community, I have had that feeling since day one in your community.
Thank you.
The women that are called to your community are just incredible. I haven't been able to go the last couple months and I am like dying to be back in that community. And it's so true. Like I'm constantly DMing like back and forth so many of the women that I've met through your community. And it's just so special. So you have built something so incredible, so special. And if you're in the OC, definitely go visit because it's worth it. I'm telling you.
It's worth the drive. I want to touch on something you said because it's super, super important, right? Where you don't have to have everything worked out. You don't have to have everything planned out. Like I talk about this on social all the time when it comes to community and membership. People always ask like, where should I host it at, right? What platform should I use? And like, you don't need any of that. You truly just need a day, a time, and a location to just bring people, because all the fluff doesn't matter. If you're there and you're facilitating the space and the container like you and Emily do, like people will feel it and they'll come back and they'll tell their friends, right? They don't need the circle community to like post about and have engagement. Like they need to be in the room, right? Whether it's a physical room or a virtual room to just connect, you know? Yeah. So I love that you said that and it's so spot on.
Yeah, it's so true. And I remember actually at some of the CEO roundtables that you run for your members, like I was going to be doing, I think it was, I was launching a course and I was going to do a masterclass for this course. And I was like, but like, what platform do I do it on? And I like had all these questions like, and thought it was this whole big thing. And you were like, do you have a Zoom account? I was like, yes. You're like, that's all you need. And like an email to tell them like, here's the Zoom link.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it is true. And then like, you know, as you grow and evolve and build the community, then more things come with it. And like now you have your clubhouse, which is also so fun and amazing and pretty. And that came after, how many years were you doing the in-person community, like hosting it at various places before you had your own like clubhouse to host it at?
So I launched almost 2 years ago, and I opened Clubhouse about a year and a half after I started Like Minded OC. We had a partnership with a co-working space in the area, and it just went south. And it was almost like forced transition. Like I needed to either open up a place or keep hopping around, you know? And so my dad, I brought up the idea to my dad, and he's like, "Oh, it's a great idea." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Right? Like if it's a great idea to somebody who doesn't necessarily is not in the industry and doesn't really, is not 100% familiar, then it is a great idea. And I really just wanted to create a home for the women of Like-Minded OC, So I made it work, and definitely ups and downs, but it feels so nice to just have people come to a space, right? Where they can come and work. We brainstorm ideas during the day. You have somebody who like is genuinely interested in what you're building. We have lunch on the lawn. We have our events here. It was just a natural transition, but I did it in a way that was doable for me. It's small. It, does exactly what I need it to do. And if there's a need to go bigger, then I will. But right now it's perfect. It's super cute. We host the events here, and it's great. But, you have to move forward somehow. And this just seemed like the perfect natural step. People just don't want to leave after the event. So I'm like, great, now you can stay.
I know, it's so good. Like my plan is to, because all of your events are usually on a Thursday. So I've like blocked out Thursdays in August, and I'm like, those are my OC days. I'm going to go to the events and just spend the day.
And then you're going to take a midday walk on the beach and then come back.
Yes, so good. Okay. So I want to hear about, obviously you are a community builder, but when you were going through like figuring out like this is a really good skill set of yours, and you actually have like this, like one of your magical things about you is that you are really good at connecting people. And so that's obviously part of community, but how has that helped you in your business and your life?
I think it just keeps you top of mind, right? We're connecting with so many people on calls, on networking calls, on social, from like LinkedIn to Instagram. And you block out people at some point. Like I took 2 screenshots of messages I got on LinkedIn, and I sent it to a couple of my friends. And I'm like, this is why, like, first of all, these messages sound like a coach told them to write it, right? It's like a whole backstory. Like it was a long message with a connection call link. And it's like you're getting thrown these messages left and right, right? So providing value for somebody just brings you to the top of the list, right? I'm always trying to make people remember, Like-Minded Collective is a community for women entrepreneurs to join, right? Always find people and connect. But the way that I'm going to stay top of mind is by connecting people. So then people are like, oh yeah, Inbal, Like-Minded Collective, I haven't logged on in a while. I'm going to log on, or, oh, I'm going to join, So it helps. It also helps when people reciprocate. So I'll connect people, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, this person wants to build out a membership. Like they should work with, Inbal, here's the link, you should connect, or send me a message or an email. So it really just when you provide value to somebody, you're top of mind, and they're going to somehow reciprocate it, whether it's a good connection or a referral, or hey, I know somebody who lives in OC, you guys should connect, but it takes work. It doesn't just happen, So you have to really be engaging. Like when I connect with somebody or I have a call with somebody, I always take control of the call. I ask questions, I ask follow-up questions, I remember things or write them down. And I'm like, who can I connect them with? That's the most value you can possibly give somebody, And so that's really I just love doing it. It's so fun. And if it turns into something great, like a podcast recording between two people I connected, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to listen to it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so funny too, because I feel like, people don't realize actually how much value connecting people is. Like, it's truly so valuable, because I would rather work with someone that I received a recommendation or a suggestion from you, for example, because I know like you're not just going to recommend anyone. Like, you're going to recommend someone who you think does a good job at XYZ. And so I'm going to take that to heart and like go meet with that person over like some random person reaching out to me on LinkedIn, for example.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so true. And like in your community, like even in like my masterminds, I'm seeing like even the members like becoming each other's clients organically and naturally, not like what you were saying, like when you first, started going to networking calls and stuff, you realize like everyone was trying to sell you. Like in your community, it doesn't feel like that at all. Everyone's just there to like lift each other up and support each other. And if a client comes out of it because they have like organically been pulled to each other, then that's amazing. That's like a perk.
It's like Diana's membership, right? Where like so many people have joined it because it's a need. You've also like told a million people about it, which is great, but it's because she's in the room, she's in your world. You see how productive she is. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I want to be like that, And so like you are able to send her people, and then you are always top of mind for her, right? Because you keep connecting people to her, and then she's always going to remember you. Like that's the thing, right? There's just so much beauty in that.
Yeah, no, truly there is. Okay, so getting down to business, like the ROI of things, what do you wish more women knew about like the real ROI of community? Not just like the business benefits, but also like the emotional, the energetic, like all of the ROI.
Yeah, I mean, I can safely say that I would not have a business if I didn't have a community. So 100% ROI.
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time. I have a group of friends. We call ourselves the Quad Pod. And we've been a group for about 2.5 years now. And we're all community builders. So we all do in-person events and we coach, consult in some capacity. And I'm actually doing a talk about this tonight.
Ooh.
How taking risks in business is so much easier when you have a group of friends and you're in community that supports you, because you're able to collapse time, right? You're able to do things so much faster. It helps with decision making. And you have this borrowed belief from people, because when you don't believe in yourself, you have people who believe in you. So when I'm scrolling LinkedIn jobs, because I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, my girlfriends are like, what are you talking about? You just had a sold out event 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but this. And they're like, shut up,
Oh my God.
So it's that. So, I mean, being in community, you find your best friends. Like I see the relationship that you and Emily have now, that you guys are co-founders, right? Of this amazing community. And like, I found my best friends through community, and truly like, I have girlfriends of 20 plus years, but the relationship that I have with my business friends, because we're able to understand each other like fully, especially mom business friends.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like it, Yeah. So you go into a room, you feel supported, you feel motivated, you build friendships out of it. You're able to just Voxer people in the middle of the night because you're like, I want to burn this down. And they'll Vox you back and say, go to Zara, do some retail therapy, and let's rethink this.
Oh, that's so true. Oh my gosh. So it's interesting you say about like you found your best friends in community and like in this business industry and everything like that. And I love that. And I don't think I've told you, but Emily and I finally came up with a business name. Okay. And it's called the CEO Besties.
Oh my God, I love it.
So as you were speaking about that, I was like, oh my gosh, that resonates so much. But it's so true. And like you said, I have some very, very like best friends that I've known since seventh grade. Sorry, as you know, my son's here. So for the listeners who don't know, my 6-year-old son is here. He did not want to go to summer camp today, so he's having a mommy work day, and he's playing with his Matchbox car. So if you hear him, that's why. But what was I saying? I got distracted.
You have friends from 7th grade.
Oh yeah, friends from 7th grade. Thank you. I love them. They're amazing, and they are my best friends. And it's so nice to have women that are also doing the same thing that you're doing, because they can just relate on a different level.
Right. Right.
And you need
even
that.
more so people who like are in the same industry as you, you know, like same coaching or in-person community or something. Like it's the same everywhere. So they understand you like fully.
Totally. And it's like when you're in it, like when you're in something, like you said, oh, I just want to burn this all down, like go find a job on LinkedIn. Yeah. Which, by the way, I could never see you working for a company.
Oh my God. Well, let me tell you, Soho House has a membership job open. And I'm like, how far is West Hollywood from Irvine?
Oh my gosh, I would die.
I know.
But yeah, like it's so helpful to have people that get it, because when you're in it, in the thick of it, sometimes we can't see like 2 feet in front of us, but to have someone who's doing the same thing as you and they're seeing it from like a zoomed out perspective, even if they're going through it as well, like they can see you and you can see them and you guys can help each other get out of it. And it's just amazing.
I know. And there's also that like actual ROI, right? Me and Haley started a mastermind together. We did the same thing. We started a mastermind together. We were able to do that and bring in more revenue. You know, she tells people about like Minded OC. Anytime somebody mentions the word Phoenix, I'm like, have you met my friend Haley?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's easy because I know her community. I know her community members. I know the value that she brings and the, you know, mission behind her community as well. So it's easy for me to refer. It goes back to referring people, right? And connecting people. Like, you know, people. So I know that the women who are in the community, I know their values align, right? And so it's easy for me to refer business. It's harder for me to refer somebody from like a networking call because I'm like, I don't know where they stand, right? And so the people, it's the same thing in my virtual community. Like we have the free aspect and then we have the paid. And I meet with the paid community every single week. So I know them, I know their business, I know everything that they're going through and how they, you know, portray themselves and the ethics and everything. And so it's easier for me to refer them business because I know them, right? They're in community, they show up, they value their business. So it's everything.
Yeah. And it's reciprocated. And like, obviously for your community where like these people, these members are paying to be part of this community, they're getting so much value because they're getting the conversations, the actual like growth and connection that they're getting from these groups and these calls, but they're also getting, they're being now top of mind in your brain and all these other members' brains so that they're the first people you think about when anyone needs someone in their industry or their business. So it makes so much sense.
Especially at the CEO roundtable events, like people build their programs there. And then the people who are at the table are like, oh my God, can you launch that now? Like I need it. You're building out, you know, different aspects of your business. And then the people in the room are your target market. So Megan was building out a community, you know, helping people with marketing and like done with you services. And one of the girls at the table was like, I'm your target market. Like, let's do some market research, you know? So it's great when you're in community because you get to brainstorm, you get to like talk about what you're building, do some market research with the women in the room. And then when you launch, there are people who like have been there from the beginning, you know? And so they're ready to join. It's just a lot easier.
It really is. It like expedites the timeline too. Like what you were saying about collapsing time. I remember, like, honestly, I think every single CEO roundtable session that I was in at Like Minded, somebody was doing that. Someone was building something. Like for me, I was like, oh, I have this brand called the Light Within Collective, and I don't know what to do. It sounds confusing when posts are being posted with at the Light Within Collective and Hey Emily Collins. And I think you were the one that was like, just do your name. Again, let's make it simple on people. And now I have a whole new business like rebrand where it's my name and I have this joint business with Emily, and it just makes so much more sense for like the future of the business and where it's going. It allows for like so much more opportunity down the road if things change.
Yeah.
And I've also seen like Diana Lunzer, who was also on this podcast a couple weeks ago. I remember being in the CEO roundtable where she was like, I really want to start this membership because I'm feeling like people have this need for like just being more productive in their business. And now she has a full blown like membership with a ton of members in it. And it's so good. And it's like the anchor of her business and it's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And she did that at CEO roundtable. I love that you changed your name. It's also a shorter email.
I know. I still have a hard name, but yeah, it was a little ridiculous when I was like, Natalie at the lightcollective.com. They're like, oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So you run a bunch of different businesses. I feel like you have several in person, you have your online community, and you support other women in doing the same. So what feels different about how you run your business now? Like, how are you helping people outside of like your membership and like the virtual community and the in-person community?
What do you mean?
Like, are you doing anything outside of your work in the communities? Do you offer services to?
Oh, yeah. So I help women build out memberships of their own. Okay. It came basically, people started asking me a bunch of questions on like how I did this. And I was always talking about community, building community, either virtual or in person, free or paid, and it has evolved to memberships, like helping women create memberships that increase revenue, lead generation, retention, and that's truly what I love doing. Like I just had a call before this one, and like the tech has skyrocketed with things that you can add to your membership these days. You can create bots for yourself. You can create like GPT stuff, different community spaces, just structuring things differently. And I love it because everybody has such different needs and a different audience. So it's fun because all of mine are structured really differently from like my in-person, my virtual, all of that. So it's nice to be able to like brainstorm with people, like to build theirs out. So we just do it in an hour, 1 hour session, build out your membership, and then come back when you need me.
I love that. And I'm sure so many women could use that support too, because again, I feel like we all overcomplicate things. And it's actually not as challenging, like the logistics part. I feel like we just need to get out of our own way.
Yeah, there's a book that I recommend to everyone. It's called Retention Point, whenever they're thinking of launching a community or membership or anything, because it really talks about simplifying, where when you launch a membership and if you have, everything in the kitchen sink, people won't see the value because maybe they can't attend or utilize 50% of it. So they're going to be like, oh, it's not worth it for me to pay whatever X amount a month, where the real value is even that one thing that they can show up to and it's worth it. They're not going to see that because there's so many other things that they can't utilize, right? So when I build memberships or communities, I really want to focus on simplifying, like we were talking about earlier, right? Just a Zoom link.
Yeah.
Make it easy. And then you build off of that. When you do some market research, when you have people in there, when you see the need, then you kind of grow and then you scale back when needed. And then it's all about market research, but simplifying it because, so many people want to throw everything. And it's like all people really need is like to be seen, heard, and they're going to come back.
Totally. Yeah, it's so true. And like for your in-person community, the like-minded OC, I love that you do a different theme every week. So how did you, well, maybe describe that for the audience, and like, how did you land on doing that? Was that through member feedback? Was that because you love to do these kinds of things? Like, how did you land on that kind of rhythm?
Yeah, so everything I do is market research based.
Okay.
So I started off exactly what I preach. I started off with one monthly event, and it was the Business and Collab event. That's what it was called from the beginning, and it was structured the exact same way as it is today. So just a brief outline. So we have all of our events on Thursdays. The first Thursday is a wellness event. Second Thursday is Business and Collab, which we do like introductions, a workshop, and then curated conversations. The third Thursday is CEO Roundtable, where you're in small groups and you brainstorm with one another. And then the fourth Thursday is Plan and Prep, which is co-working and accountability. So we started off with just the monthly event, and we did that for about 6 months. And then I knew that I wanted to turn it into a membership. And so I didn't know how I wanted to build it out, but I knew I needed to start offering more.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of social events. We did like community walks, we did coffee meetups. I had a lot of people driving from either LA or San Diego. So I was doing like a monthly coffee meetup in San Diego, a monthly coffee meetup in LA, which barely anybody showed up. So I stopped doing that. But San Diego was great. I was getting like 10 to 15 women at these coffee meetups, and I was doing everything free.
Wow.
And then I was doing a co-working, so people could just co-work, and it was all free. And then I was seeing like what people were coming to, what people were not coming to. And then I did, then I launched the membership, and I did like a founding member rate, and people joined. And then I started to do market research for members, and I did just my email list. I did a form, and people really wanted, I was thinking of doing like virtual. And so I was asking, like, do you want virtual? Do you want in person? Do you want social? Do you want business? So I asked a bunch of questions, and a lot of people really wanted in person and business focused. And so that's where I came up with the CEO Roundtable. That's where we started the co-working, and it was all under the membership. And I still wanted one wellness event a month because I think that's important for us to prioritize self-care.
Yeah.
And so we do that by partnering with different studios in the area. We've done cold plunges, which you came to. We've done boxing. We've done walks here from the co-working space. We've done beach journaling. We've done a lot of stuff. And so it's really amazing. Actually, Yvonne, who you sent to Like Minded OC, ran the other one that we had this month, and it was great. So one wellness, all in person, everything is under the membership except for Business and Collab, and people are able to purchase a ticket for that, like a one-off if they want to come. Or I give, if I connect with people and I'm like, oh, this person looks like they would be a really good fit, then I invite them as a guest and try to get them hooked so they come back.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
No, I love it. And that's so important. It's interesting because like I come from a corporate background, and I was in tech startups for over 15 years, but I was heading up like customer success and account management teams. And a lot of that role involved getting feedback from customers and like sharing it with the company, the executive team, the product team. So like they would know what to build for the product going forward. And the companies that I've worked for that actually listen to their customers are the ones that succeed.
Yes.
I've worked for companies that like, I'm like, why am I even collecting this feedback? Because they've done nothing with this feedback. And like, it goes to show because they're not doing what their customers need. So that's incredible that you listen to the community and like you're giving them what's valuable to them.
I think it also shows that like as somebody, who attends meetings and is a part of a membership, when people listen, I'm more willing to give feedback in the future, right? I'm like,
Totally.
oh, she listened and she implemented and she asks for feedback. Like, I appreciate that. I did that in my virtual too. We started off also with one workshop a month. And then eventually I got feedback that they wanted more. And so we did weekly workshops. And then I did market research as I saw the audience kind of drop off. And so I removed it and I went to one. I mean, we tried so many different things there, like journaling, co-working, but you have to do market research because also, again, you stay top of mind, right? I'm sending out an email, I'm asking for feedback, I'm getting on
Mhm.
calls with people. So it helps because I always say, I at every virtual call at least and in person where I'm like, I need feedback, like good or constructive. Like it's the only way that I can grow, right?
Right.
And so implementing that, and then people give feedback again and again, and it's great. And then I always say, like, I'm going to implement what I can and what makes sense, but please give feedback. I always have a list of, an ongoing list of things.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's so true. And do you have any tips for female founders or just anyone, any entrepreneur who is trying to start their market research, trying to get feedback? I've noticed, like, even in my own community, when I'm asking for feedback, sometimes it can be challenging to get feedback because I feel like some people don't necessarily want to give, like, they don't know how to give constructive feedback. Maybe it hasn't been part of like their, like they haven't had to do that in their career or in whatever their job was previously. So do you have any tips on like how to successfully get feedback from your community?
Yeah, listen, it's not going to be 100%. It may not even be 50, to be honest, but what you do get is valuable, right? So
Yeah.
there are a couple of things. Whenever I send out a form, I don't make anything mandatory. So even if
Mhm.
I can get like one snippet of like a bullet point,
Yeah.
um, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So nothing is mandatory. I always say it's also anonymous. So I don't even make the name mandatory. I always ask like in voice notes also for people. So if people are like paid members, I'll reach out and say, hey, listen, like, would you mind getting on a 15-minute call? Like, I'm really trying to work through how to move forward with the community. And like this aspect, this is what I'm thinking. I would just love your feedback. I respect your
Mhm.
opinion. So when people are on a call, then you say like, listen, my feelings won't get hurt. Like, I
Yeah.
need to know this because I am the one who sees this every day. So for me, this makes sense. But if it doesn't make sense to you, like, I need to know,
Yeah.
So I'm always saying, like, my feelings won't get hurt
Yeah.
and some things won't get implemented, but
Right.
please give me your feedback because it's the only way that I can grow. But like
Yeah.
I said, some people won't give it to you. It's never going to be 100%, but I feel like if you can get them on a call or like in voice notes on Instagram, the communication is a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good idea about the voice notes. I hadn't thought about that. And I do think like the context of being like, this is not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
This is not about me. Like, yeah, because I feel like that
exactly.
is what it is, especially with females. Like, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. And so that can be challenging sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And like truly, like nothing can hurt my feelings because these women, I know that they love the community, right? They're paying members of the community. And so they should know that, it's like, listen, I know you value the community and just any feedback would be helpful.
Yeah.
Like you can't hurt my feelings because I know that we're aligned. So like
Right.
anything you say, I know will come from a good place.
Yeah. That's so
You know?
true. Yeah. And you're attracting those kinds of people in your community anyway. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
And if
sense.
somebody wants something, like you can also say this, like, listen, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what you're thinking. Like, if you wish this was a little different, the only way I'm going to know is if you tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Inbal, you're not psychic?
I know, shocking.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that you mentioned earlier in the conversation that you were talking to your husband and you were like, if I would have just had community when I was building my candle business, it would have been so different. But what would you have done differently, if anything at all, knowing what you know now about where you're at in your business with community?
I would have done more education around the value. So, like at all of my events, my candles are 100% non-toxic and all
Mhm.
natural. And I remember I was living in North Carolina at the time. And so all these like Southern woman trade shows that I was at, these women were obsessed with Bath and Body. Okay.
Okay.
And so I'm like, they're so toxic. All of the
Yeah.
candles at Bath and Body, they're like $5, they're toxic. And so I was giving people like, listen, just half off, right? 50% off.
Mhm.
Just try the candle. I promise it won't give you headaches, like any of the stuff that happens from
Yeah.
toxins. And so I would have truly like started a community around health and wellness and talked about the value of all natural products, and maybe had experts come in on like how to detox your home or like substituting things in your life that are easy. Just like built a space for people to connect and talk, and like, maybe for moms specifically, but it just would have been like bringing people together to educate on the benefits, and also maybe do like, in-person workouts once in a while, like, because people who value, working out usually value health and wellness, usually value like clean products. So it would just like kind of roll into that. But I would have just incorporated so much more community and like bringing people together more than I did.
Yeah. Oh, that makes so much sense now that you're talking about it. And like hindsight's 2020, but there's still opportunity. There's something else later down the road.
I still make the candles, but I don't market it because I make every single candle by hand.
Oh my gosh. I actually did not know that.
Really?
Wow. No, I did not know that you made every single one by hand.
Yes, I have a designated area in my house. There's like, we have the living room, the kitchen, and like a family room. So half of it's the playroom and half of it is my candle workshop.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I love that.
It's actually really nice because like you get to turn off your brain,
Yeah.
So I'm like, if there are some days where I'm just like, oh my God, I can't think today, I'll just like bust out a few orders.
Oh, I love that. That's okay. So Emily and I read the book Unicorn Space. Have you ever read that?
No.
It's such a good book, and it talks about how like every woman needs their own unicorn space. And sometimes it can turn into your business.
Oh, interesting.
And like that is your unicorn space. It's your like, it's kind of like your me time is like working out or like going on a walk or whatever. Like your unicorn space is doing something that you love to do that genuinely makes you happy. And then sometimes it turns into a business. So
I love making the candles. Packaging them is a whole other story.
Yeah. Well, maybe when your kids are a little older, you can hire them on to be your packager.
I know. They open up cardboard boxes for me. It's so freaking cute.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, they love it.
Okay, so obviously you're the visionary behind all of this, but how do you stay connected to the women you serve while also leading and growing so many things?
Yeah, so it's challenging at times, and I've really like leaned into the other women in the community to do that. Like I know that if Diana's in the room, I don't have to worry about anything. She's like going to work the room and talk and this and like welcome people in, and I'm like, thank you, you're hired. But there are also some people in my virtual community who do the same. But like, it's hard because I love connecting with people, and that's why voice notes are so easy. Like I do it as much as I can, and I just send voice notes to people. But it's something that I could be way better at. There are people who do it so freaking well. Like my friend Christina Bartold is a community builder in Canada. She is so good at it. But I'm like, there's just a lot,
Yeah. There's a lot, but also I feel like you are not giving yourself enough credit because you are amazing at it.
I think in person is a lot different. Like when people walk in a room, I'm like, oh my God, I could talk to you for hours, right?
Yeah.
And you feel super welcome. Like, I think that's why the virtual community has kind of taken a backseat. Now I'm reviving it, but because there was so much value in person. Like somebody walks through the door, the conversation, the feel, the hug is just a completely different ball game than virtually. Even I have a community for Jewish women entrepreneurs, and we meet monthly for like a Shabbat brunch, and we meet virtually, but like the connections in person are so much stronger,
Right.
So I do it and it's also a lot easier in person because I see people weekly, know? So it's like, if I don't see somebody for a week or so, I'm like, oh my God, it's been so long since
I know. So true. We had like a kind of like a roundtable call today with our masterminds, and one of the things that we asked for feedback on was like, what could we be doing better? And what came up was like just like weekly touch points, like keeping the traction going week by week. And you're right, like when you're seeing people in person every single week, it's so much easier than like waiting an entire month or like doing it over a call. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's why Like-Minded Collective, we have our elite membership that I was telling you about. We meet weekly. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so much easier because we know each other's businesses. Like we can all give feedback, there's implementation, and then come back, so we see each
Mm-hmm.
other every single week. So it's a lot easier. Whereas the networking calls that we used to do, now they're in our lower tier, but
Mm-hmm.
the networking calls were once a month. And so when I moved that to a membership, I was like, once a month is, not enough.
Nice.
So I added the workshop to the third Tuesday. So there was like 2 touch points a month because you need to see people more often, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's just on Zoom, because you want people to remember and connect,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at your new tiers for Like-Minded Collective, and they look great. Like I
Thank
was
you.
like, that makes so much sense. So
Thank you. Thank you.
okay. So for the woman who's listening who feels like she's in her like building alone season, or maybe she's scaling but feels totally disconnected, what would you want her to know?
Get in the room,
Yeah.
preferably in person. There are so many different communities all over the place. And not everyone is going to feel like a group of friends. And if
Mm-hmm.
you don't find one that does, start your own. And it can be super small, but like you have to start and be in community if you can't find it. And
Mm-hmm.
ask people, like if you see somebody, even if it's somebody you don't know, if you follow them on Instagram, you see them going to events, you see them hanging out with people, just ask them like, hey, what is this community? It looks super fun, And if it's the right community, they'll invite you in, they'll bring you with them. If it's not the right community, they'll gatekeep and you're like, well, I don't want to be there anyways.
Yeah.
um, but just ask around.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to do in the beginning, especially like I'm an introvert. I hate doing stuff like that. But once you just go and you start, it's so much easier and you see the value. If in person is a little bit difficult, if you're a mom, if you have littles, if there's no camp over the summer, definitely try to do virtual. I have a freebie if you want to include it in the show notes.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
basically a list of virtual and in-person events.
Amazing.
So either conferences or virtual free virtual networking calls that happen either weekly or monthly. So definitely just hop in and then you'll meet people local, ask them to go to a coffee. It can just go from there. But the more you get in the room, the more comfortable you get. And then it'll just be life changing. You're like, oh my God, I don't even want to meet people virtual anymore. I just want to be in
Yeah.
person all the time.
Yeah. So true. Oh my gosh. I like second everything you just said. My husband, Matt, the other day was like, wow, your social life has really like taken off this year. Cause last year I was like putting myself in every room, like really putting myself out there. And I'm an introvert as well. So it was challenging. But then once you start to do it, it just becomes easier. And you're right. Like there are some communities that I was like, oh, this isn't really my vibe. And then some that I'm like, I love it so much. Like even being away from yours for a few months, I'm like, I just cannot wait to be back there. So true. Okay, so I have just a couple rapid fire questions to wrap things up. So what is one non-negotiable in your current business or life rhythm?
Working out.
Love it. Yeah. I see you posting
Non-negotiable.
on Instagram and I'm like, yeah, that's part of mine too. And when I'm not, I'm like, things are not going well in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I guess it boils down to communication because I need to communicate with my husband to be like, okay, when works for you for me to go? Like, are you home? Are you traveling? And I make time for it. Like I go at 5 a.m. if I have to,
Yeah.
because like this week I was like really wanted to get into this class on ClassPass that always sells out. And I'm like, he usually goes golfing super early on Saturday and I usually work out super early on Sunday. And so the class is on Saturday. So I'm like, hey, can you golf on Sunday so I can go to this workout class on Saturday? And she said yes. So I'm like, but working out, non-negotiable.
Yeah. Okay. What's one thing women should stop doing when trying to build community?
Making it about themselves.
So
I think
good.
a lot of people create community for the sole purpose of selling their offer. and you can see right through it. It's like those Facebook groups where you're not allowed to post about your business.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
I know.
There's plenty to go around.
Okay. And this last one is not business related, but what is your favorite store to shop at?
Zara. I think I mentioned it on this call, actually.
You did. And I'm like taking notes because I desperately want you to be my personal stylist. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, let me tell you. Chelsea has inspired me. So she's really good at it, but she shops at Zara. And so I started shopping at Zara.
I love her style. Actually,
I like
Diana
your style.
Mine?
When you walked into the first CEO roundtable, I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so cute. And you're like, I actually got dressed up. It's my first day of my new life path.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I remember that day so much. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. Okay. And I ask this question to everyone that's on the podcast, but what is something you're currently working on that's lighting you up from the inside out?
Membership. I was just talking to somebody about this. Like, I've been coaching or consulting in some capacity when it comes to community, and it hasn't felt fully 100% because people don't really understand the value of community, right? They understand the ROI when it comes to membership. And so I finally feel so lit up by it. I'm creating a workshop. It's called The Magic of Memberships. And it's just going to be offered monthly, getting people to book calls with me. But it just feels like people are going to walk away being able to build their membership. And then if they need brainstorming, they can hire me for an hour. And I'm just like, wow, this feels so good.
Love it. And also when you talk about community, like I see you light up. So that's so special.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This was so fun. Like I laughed so much just smiled so much during this conversation. So where can listeners find you? Where can they connect with you? How can they stay in your world?
Yeah, so everything is on Instagram at Inbal Claudio. And then my website link is on there. My in-person community is virtual. Everything you can access through inbalclaudio.com or Inbal Claudio. And then my website is inbalclaudio.com.
Perfect. And I'm going to put that all in the show notes as well as the freebie you mentioned.
Perfect.
And yeah, thank you again. I know that this conversation is just going to help so many women kind of get out of their comfort zone and maybe put themselves out there and start meeting new people, join communities. And I can't wait to see you next month.
I know. August 20th, you said. I'm like counting down the days.
I know. Yes, I can't wait. So thank you again, and I will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Light Her Up. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to take steps towards a life better than you ever dreamed. I see you, I hear you, and I'm so proud of you for showing up and prioritizing your journey. When you fill up your cup with love, you can pour so much more into the people and passions that matter to you most. If this episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you subscribed, left a review, and shared it with someone who could use a little extra light. For more, check out our weekly 5-minute meditations or connect with me on Instagram at The Light Within Collective. I'm sending you my love, and I'll catch you on the next episode.